My neighbor right next door, yeah, it never cooperates very long for me. My neighbor from next door was my neighbor at my old place before the fire. And so we end up getting cool. So sometimes I'll ask him to take my dogs out if it's going to be a long night, mainly when I was doing a lot of late night driving.
Yeah.
So he hit me up one night and it's like, hey, you want me to take the dogs out? I'm like, heck yeah, dude. I'm 2 hours before I can get home. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
About 15 minutes later, I get a text that's a photo of my dog stuck to his dog.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, oh, good job, buddy.
I'm a grandparent.
That's it.
Right.
So he said last week he went and there's 6 heartbeats in there. She's um she's Dalmatian and pit bull mix, and then I got my buddy who's pit bull. So there gonna be some big cutie dogs. I'm gonna have to get a third one. I'm like, that's my limit though. After that, I'm done. No
Oh,
more.
it's good to have limits.
Yeah. So good to be back, man. I'm trying to queue up a couple. I just want to queue up this one video. That's all. Got a little 6-minute video that I think we should watch. For 2 reasons. One, I think it's really good. This guy started his channel 3 years ago, and now it's huge. But 3 years ago, the channel's literally called My Lunch Break. He literally started it as something to do to burn up his lunch break at work. And I don't think he works anymore.
Yeah.
So it's done well for him. And so when you go to his page, it's one of his earlier videos that really got me hooked to the whole concept. And so I think we'll end up the video there and see what we make of that.
But, you just want to get a lunch break out of the deal.
Yeah, that's it. But I like the idea of what you just came up with. I'm trying to, let's see, get this one that I was just watching. Yep, that one there.
Yeah, just kind of a primer. What's like when I come into conspiracy theory, my thought is like Bigfoot. Well, yes, there's conspiracy theories related to Bigfoot, but Bigfoot in and of itself, unless there's a story around it, that's not a conspiracy. That's a thing. Now, like the government cover up of Bigfoot, that's a conspiracy theory. So okay, but what's it's like you hold on. Stepped on my headphones.
Oh yeah, almost lost it. Yeah.
It's like, there's a difference between Coke and Pepsi, and there's a difference between an apple and a banana. Like, okay, now explain what it is for somebody who's never experienced an apple or a banana and doesn't give a damn about lizard overlords and Bigfoots and national park conspiracies, and, whatever. So I thought, at some point we should do a 5-10 minute, and if it takes an hour, but even better, but kind of an idea of like, yeah, what are we talking about here when you hear conspiracy theories? Are we talking about um, the base layer things? The Republicans want this and the Democrats want that. Well, is that a conspiracy theory? No, that's just different ideologies. You know, when you start getting to, well, what does it take? What's the definition of a good urban legend? What's the definition of a conspiracy theory? What's the definition of just kind of gossip and hearsay and rumors? Like, oh, Jimmy Hoffa is buried under the end zone at Giant Stadium.
Right.
Is that a conspiracy or is that just a rumor? Or is that an urban legend? Or is it all of them? Does it check the boxes for all of them? So anyway, that kind of thing.
No, and I think those are all good questions. I think for me, as a conspiracy theorist, was taught, at least in the beginning of my journey as a conspiracy theorist, to sort of reject that terminology. It was sort of woo woo. It was foil hat wearing. You believe in all these crazy things.
Yeah,
Um,
and
right.
I mean,
And so again, what is the difference? I think humans do love patterns. Humans do. I would be lying if I couldn't admit that there is an allure towards having knowledge that other people don't have. There is. There's an appeal towards knowing something, or at least believing that you know something
yeah, there we
that
go. There we go.
someone else
Thinking that
doesn't.
you have a piece of the puzzle.
Yes, absolutely. There's an allure to that.
Because somebody might have all the information, but when you go, "Oh, I do see a pattern here," then you're right. You do automatically get that sense that it's like, they don't really know what's going on. Like,
Right.
they know the pieces, but they don't know what's going on here. So,
Well, and it's kind of one of those things. Have you ever said to someone, well, uh, you can see everyone else's problems, but you can't see your own?
yeah,
That classic thing.
yeah.
Well, no one ever says that's not real. We say that it's inappropriate, but we say no one ever says, well, no, that's not realistic. You can't see my situation better from outside, unrelated, with no consequence. Well, yeah, I can. I do. I
I
clearly see
clearly
what you
see
should
what you
do
should do
because it doesn't
because it
affect
doesn't
me. It
affect me.
won't take
Right.
anything from me or add anything.
Yeah, I don't have a dog in the fight, so to say.
Exactly. And so for me, that and maybe falsely sometimes gives you a sense of security and your ability to disseminate information, Um, and so I think that's a part of it. Yeah, I would admit there is to thinking that you know something, but then that also, for me, has been become something that I tried to be careful of. I knew they were going to give her up. So, um, there is an allure towards thinking even that you have some sort of information that other people. But here's the thing: when you make that connection one time, when you're right once, it's dangerous. It's like a drug. You get addicted to it because you're like, well, I saw the pattern.
Right.
There was no connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chemtrails were woo woo. When I
Right.
started
Right,
to
right.
think that the government was spraying us with chemicals from planes, I mean, was like right on the track of getting you committed. And now we're like, well, yeah, I mean, but they're geoengineering. There's a reason. They're trying to
So
stop global warming.
so, okay, no, time out, though, because okay, let's riff on that one,
Okay.
okay? Let so plane flies by, you see the white stuff that, well, it's a chemtrail. No, it's called steam, dummy. Well, it's and
Hmm.
then somebody proves, therefore, you're right. Okay, but what if the somebody that proved it is woo woo?
Okay.
I mean, it like what's the burden of proof? Like at what
Sure.
point does something go? So like, there's only really one way to prove that Jimmy Hoff is buried in the end zone of Giant Stadium, right? Oh, you find the guy that buried him. Oh, you find a fedora hat on the end of the goalpost. That no, no. The only way to prove that Jimmy Hoff was buried in the end zone at Giant Stadium is to dig up Giant Stadium and go, look,
There
and
he
then test
is.
the DNA and go, that's parts of Jimmy Hoffa are yeah, we found him. I mean, okay, that's been proven. But just because they interview somebody that says, "Well, I'm the one that held the shovel when they buried him," that doesn't prove diddly, you know? And in the chemtrails, well, it's been proven. Okay, by whom? By what? By what reputable source? Is it in what do they call those? A journal,
Mhm.
peer-reviewed journal.
Peer reviewed
Has
journal.
it been proven in a peer-reviewed journal, that doesn't have conspiracy theory in the title?
Well,
So
eh,
that burden of proof, like, at what point do you go, I'll be darned, it really was true.
And okay, and so the burden of proof, I think the goalpost changes a lot, and I'll admit that. The goalpost does change. The defense of that change is that it's like, well, yeah, we're saying that our government, the people who are in positions of power, who have immense wealth, are the controlling populace of our world, the world as we know it. If you think about the person, let's break it down. We don't. It doesn't have to be scary. The person who controls wheat, the biggest owner of wheat, the biggest producer of wheat, he's a big boy. He's a big player. Tobacco, he's been a big guy, been a big boy, been a player.
Yeah.
Dairy, you talk about meat and cows, and then you get into uh metals. Do you know that valves are like federally controlled? Valves are, I think the word, I think it's the valve, um, because valves are so useful in everything that they thought, yep, let's monopolize it. Let's just control who can get valves, how quickly, the supply chain, the whole thing. Because if we control your valves, we control all your stuff, all your production, all your
Whoa.
plants, all your,
Yeah.
yeah,
Whoa.
the flow of everything. And so it's kind of like that thing. It's like the burden of proof does move, and we also have to realize that we are trying to work against a system that doesn't want you to know the truth. As a conspiracy theorist, you're like, yeah, they lied about everything. They tried to cover it up. They're not that great at it. And so we're finding bits and pieces. You do have to do creative investigation. You do have to be like, I can't prove that, but that does feel right. And I know that it sounds crazy. It does. But being able to disseminate different information, I think it is a little bit like faith, right? Faith,
Yeah.
what was the faith is the substance of things hoped for
Right.
and the evidence of things not seen.
Seen. Right.
Faith isn't about what you can prove, it's about believing, and so when we talk about believing in God and believing in the word, um, that's faith. So to answer your question, the burden of proof lies in how the information was collected, who benefits from you getting this information, and I think it's Occam's razor. The path that tends to be the truth is the path with the least resistance, the path with the least amount of assumptions.
Assumptions. The least amount of assumptions. Now, what does it take to make an assumption?
Mm.
Really,
Not
2 things.
much, not
2
much,
things.
right?
No,
Okay.
not much. 2 things. What does it take to make assumptions? If I were to say, "Donovan, what do you need before you can assume that, um, you're not looking at a window outside right now, right?
Hmm.
So what does it take for you to assume right now that it's light outside? It's not dark.
Mm.
What does it take for you to assume that?"
Maybe knowing the time of the day that it
Yep,
is,
yep. So some information,
some information,
valid information,
hmm
and
maybe some history to base that on, or an idea.
right, you've looked out the window at 7 o'clock at night before, and where you live, this time of year, it's light out,
Yep,
and you can assume that it's light out, right? So so you need some information and you need some perspective, right?
yep.
Perspective. Okay, now that's the so if your perspective as a person who eh, um and we talked about this a long time ago at one of our very first podcasts, was the difference between my worldview and your worldview is for you, all you need is a semi plausible explanation for some things that you've seen.
Hmm.
Oh, and that conspiracy must be right. And I know it's not that, that's a way oversimplification, but at least you stop and go, "Hmm, this there needs to be some investigation into this because this could be right." Even though you have 2 pieces of information that someone such as myself, who is not a conspiracist, extraordinaire, would hear those 2 pieces of information and go, "The heck have those got to do with each other?"
Right.
You know? So, yes, that burden of proof, um is gonna base a little bit on what does it take to convince my burden of proof is gonna be different than yours,
Sure.
because your burden of proof's way down here when you hear about a conspiracy, and mine's way up here. It's like before I was convinced that, yeah, there's actually giants out there, you had to give me 2 or 3 things that were pretty verifiable, bro,
Hmm.
pretty I mean, I take things in the Bible for granted. They're honest, that they're not trying to lie to us, right? And then there's the news stories. People saw this and it was unexplained, and in a different part of the world, people saw this and it was unexplained, and in a different time frame entirely, people saw this and it was unexplained, and it was the same darn story. So if you put that together with what I consider to be biblical fact, wow, all of a sudden the lights went off and I said, "There's giants. Yeah, there's giants."
Right. Right.
Well, what if somebody didn't believe in the Bible in the first place, right?
Right.
Then that cornerstone of what I based my decision that I'm going to believe that
Hmm.
giants exist, for me, it came from an irrefutable source of information, which is the Bible. But if somebody doesn't believe the Bible, so what?
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You're
So
absolutely right.
that's the thing with conspiracies is, that's why sometimes people look at you funny when you say flat earth, because they go, there is not an amount, hear what I say, there is not an amount of information out there that will convince me that the earth is flat. Well, you've already told me that something about you, right? That
Hmm.
that you can't be convinced of something that Donovan takes to be factual information, that the that
Yeah.
that the world's flat, that it's been
Well,
proven. So, like, "Oh, goodness, so what puts together a good conspiracy theory again?" Like, it's
I
gotta
think.
be able to it almost has to be unprovable,
Mm,
because
mm.
because if you can prove it, it's not a conspiracy anymore, brother, it's a fact.
Well, but then that goes back to this burden of proof. Um,
Well,
eh, so let's say this again. The idea of the idea of the Illuminati, the idea of this governing body that controls things, was the first conspiracy I ever really attached to. That's the other thing about conspiracy. If you get hooked to one, it's like a Pringle. You can't stop at just one. How can I accept?
well, and they're all in the same can. I mean, it's
Yeah, they literally,
almost all
yeah.
of them are related somewhere. I get,
I
yeah.
want to say this piece about your peer reviewed study.
Yeah.
Well, then it comes in, it doubles back to a conspiracy. Well, look, okay, well, let's look into who owns that journal, who
Who
benefit,
repeat it.
who publishes, who is that? Oh, more of the same. It's more of the snake with the tail in its mouth. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what it makes the conspiracy theorists go. "Oh," they become the crazy guy pushing the cart up the street talking about the aliens are coming, because I'm not gonna. So you want me to go to work for the reptilians and get the degree that means nothing? That you like? We all can see that it's a joke. We can all see. I told my friend, I think I said this to you the other day. When you're watching a movie and you can almost tell it's over, you can just tell because they start playing a certain music, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and the scene starts rapping. That's what we see. We're all seeing it. This is almost over. This is almost over. Everybody feels it. The conspiracy, uh to me, is like, once you get one, for instance, the very first one that I'll give credit to, the very first conspiracy I was ever into, which we've never even talked much about, is 9/11.
Mhm.
And the single fact that I hang up on is that the woman reported on the news that they had found passports. And at my birthday is September 10th. So September 11th was right it was like just,
Yeah.
2001, I was turning 11. Um it did something in my brain. And so it was something that was like, prior to that moment, you could not have convinced me. There was no amount of evidence available that would have convinced me that the news would lie to you.
Right. Right.
The news was a reputable, it wasn't even a I didn't even understand the news to be a business that had a EIN and that had employees and shareholders. Like, I didn't even recognize it like that. I recognized the news as like sort of this supreme access to, these guys are for you. They're for the people. They're supposed to
Right.
let you know what's going on, when it's safe, when it's too hot, when it's going to rain. But they'll lie to you. once you accept that, you got to say, well, it's not just Michigan news, right? Obviously, it's not Fox 47.
Right.
That's the only one that'll lie to you.
Right.
They'll all lie.
Right.
So then a conspiracy theorist is born. So now that alone, I don't have proof that she lied. I don't even know that woman, what her name was. I can't go find that clip. But I know in my heart of hearts that she said that. She said that they found passports. And maybe she was just reading a script that they gave her. I'm not saying that she's in the Illuminati. I'm not calling her a reptilian.
Yeah.
But does she work for them? Is she connected? I think it's far more likely. I think it's safer to start assuming that they're lying and that there's a trick there to be discovered
Okay.
than there is to assume.
Yeah.
Eh,
And there's there's the standard. Like what's most likely? Like you said, where do the least amount of assumptions and leaps have to be made? You know, is this line of thinking like so far fetched that even even a person who believes in conspiracies is going, I see the puzzle pieces, but I think you're putting together two different puzzles here.
mhm,
You know, you got to show me how it's one puzzle,
mhm.
and then we'll start. Okay, then we'll start walking out. Then we'll start thinking this through a little more critically. So I think that that's it. Is it's like, this makes sense?
Mhm.
And I think what makes sense to your brain is different than what makes sense to mine. So
Sure.
that's the part. Yeah, you know, I want facts, man.
It,
I want to know, when does a conspiracy theory go from a theory to, oh, when I saw the
well,
light about giants?
yeah.
What does it take to get to that point that you go, I've never considered that there might be 12-foot beings walking around on the earth ever in the history of Earth. And now all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, of course there is.
Well,
Pull
let's
the Bible.
well let's go back to that for a second. We accept that they've been here. We talked about that on the Giants episode here before and after. Um, so let's play with that for a second. In that episode, we discuss kind of lightly the origin of what a giant is. The giant is the result of a fallen angel
Mhm.
mating with a human woman. That's about as biblical and faith relating as you can get, right? So it's like, let's chew on that. We're saying that there were giants. We accept it. Giants were here.
Yeah.
So angels
So
did
did
fall.
fall.
Heaven
Heaven is
is there. You just put that out and create an island. Heaven is up there. Heaven is right above. That's on an island and no one can reach it. No one has boats. No one can reach this island. Heaven is above me. It's done. It's been finished. There's no amount of evidence that anyone can give me on this planet that would help me to believe that heaven isn't above my head. Now, whether I would believe it's right there and right above the plane where they fly, or whether it's, in another gap, whatever, I do think it's right above me, and I've accepted that, and it's done. I put it somewhere, and it's locked away now. It's inaccessible to anyone else to modify that. That becomes an anchor point for me. Jesus becomes an anchor point for me. Again, flat Earth in particular, I only ever had the audacity and the courage to really latch on it like I did because of what I feel are biblical alignments. Why did Jesus say the earth was stable, still? And why would he say it's unmovable if it spins at the equator? I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that there couldn't be true at the same time. He's saying that I fixed it. But I'm saying everything that they teach us is opposite to it's stable and unmovable. It's like a tree planted in water. It won't move. It shan't be moved. Why would he describe that? Why would he describe watchers watching the four corners? Why? What benefit? He took a whole day to do the firmament. The whole day. It's one whole day. So it's like, again, it's back with that passport. So you said, well, you got to connect it. So the big conspiracy is they're trying to hide God. They don't want the average, and actually they're winning. The average, the amount of people attending church and Christian faith is falling, is declining rapidly. People think the way they used to say ha, 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 aliens is how they say ha, 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 Jesus in the sky, sitting on his throne. Ha, 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 ha. And it's like, no, that's a part of the plan. So if you see the hiding of Jesus, say his name, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, they are trying to reject his legacy. And by doing that, by any means necessary, that means by hiding his cosmology. He says, I forget who it was, but he says, "Where were you when I placed the earth on its foundation? Where are the fountains? Where does the ocean come from?
I think that's
What causes the wind to come from the west?
yeah.
Oh, you don't know?
Yeah.
Well, if you can't explain the things that are going on in your realm, how could you explain? How could you even understand anything going on up here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, so to me, it's that pattern thing again. I see it as one huge conspiracy with multiple. Flat Earth to me is the conspiracy. It's the. They all think about what would. I think Flat Earth is bigger than aliens. Like aliens could pop out and we're like, yeah, I mean, well, we've got ants. It's not really that far of a stretch to think they're ant people. Like, yeah, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
I guess, sure.
Here we go again.
Millions of years. I mean, Big Bang, millions of years of evolution, the monkeys, the people, the Neanderthal, the whole thing. It's all crap. So for me, it's again, it's back to that thing where it's like once you accept one of them, Flat Earth was hard. Flat Earth sent me into a depression. It wasn't happy to come to terms. No, this is honest to God truth. I wasn't happy when I started to believe that the earth was flat. It made me sad. It made me really depressed. It made me drink. It made me it did all the things that you could say, even if I'm crazy, even if we find out the earth isn't flat, I went through all the real emotions of realizing that, oh my God, my they really are putting paint thinner in Kellogg's cereal. They really don't care about you. They really want you to die. They really hate you. They hate that you have an opportunity to make it heaven, to heaven, and they don't. They fell to mate with these women and create these giants. The offspring was the giants. That now we have them just chasing. So what we're having now is these people who we're calling the reptilians. We're saying that these are the descendants of these giants. We're saying that these are the descendants of these. They created a race of people. Well, if I came and made it with humans and had a child, well, then that child had more children. Then obviously that race continues. Well, what do you think that race of people is? You think they worship God and go to church? The descendants of the fallen ones that were in heaven? No, of course not. They are looking to cause havoc and get as many souls in hell as possible. Why? Because they think it hurts God. It's all about a rejection of Jesus, a rejection of God's will, a rejection of that they're upset that he wouldn't bow to Satan on that mountaintop. It's all a connected conspiracy in my mind, the way I see it.
So when you use the term Illuminati, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together again. So when you use the term Illuminati, we're talking Illuminati equals alien overlord, lizard overlords equals the offspring of the Nephilim, of the giants, equals the offspring of fallen angels mating with humans. And to me, like I don't even like the term fallen angels
Right.
because Satan was a fallen angel, right?
Mm-hmm.
What what's his lead? Who's on his team?
Right.
They're demons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear fallen angels, I don't envision this blonde-haired, winged warrior with a giant sword who also happens to be evil. No, we're talking demons. So we're talking demons mating with humans, having children who are the giants, the Nephilim. Uh, from there, it turns to what you're saying is lizard overlords. So they're not lizards. I mean, they very well could be, but I mean, they're not. The movie V that came out in the '80s. It's like the lizards came down in the spaceships and they were
Right.
covered with human skin, and Okay, so if you and again, to play that out to its natural end, so they started the rumor, whatever, with Galileo or, whatever, that the world is a sphere, round. And again, round is like a dinner plate's round, it can still be
Hmm.
flat. So we're talking a sphere, the world is a globe. And part of that was just to distract people or throw them off course and say, "Hey, think about the world being round instead of thinking about Jesus," right? Is that am I making sense? Is all of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
consistent with what you've thought about since you were 11? I mean, not
yeah.
since then, but I mean, it's all of that.
Well, and so I say, a Michigander is a person who is born and raised in Michigan, right?
Mhm.
Or from Michigan
Yeah,
originally.
identifies, yeah, I'm
Identifies right. But I would also say, so then a person that resides in Michigan is what?
can be a
Not
Michigander
one?
too.
A Michigander too, okay.
Yeah, I can
So I think,
it's the Midwest, we're friendly, we'll let people in.
sure.
Yeah,
So I say, when I say the Illuminati, yeah, it's like a big web that encompasses all those things. But I'm
yeah,
saying Moloch is mentioned in the Bible. He's mentioned in the Epstein files. He's mentioned, Moloch is represented, Alex Jones, when he snuck onto that island, he saw that they had a huge 30-foot effigy of Moloch the owl, where they are said to have done fake sacrifices, but he believes they were real. I believe they were real. The Bible says stop sacrificing your children to Moloch.
Moloch, yeah. And
They are worship. So there's a group of people who bow to that false deity. That's one of the Bible says a third of the host of heaven fell when the angels fell out of heaven. A third, one third. And I always say we don't know how many angels were there, but if there were 100 and 33 of them fell, we got 33 bad running around. If there were 3 trillion, I don't think the number is better no matter which way you slice. If there were
right,
only 3,
right, right.
if he just decided he only needed 3 and one of them is down here wreaking out,
They're
I think
doing
it's trouble either way it goes, you
right,
know?
they're doing a good job.
Yeah. And so when I say the Illuminati, I'm saying there are these different entities. We have Catholics that go to church, they praise Jesus. We have Protestants that go to Baptist and Pentecostal and non-denominational and Methodist and all these different things. And so when I'm saying the Illuminati and the lizard people and all that, I'm saying that name covers all the people who either by bloodline or by choice
Right. We're following
have
that.
chosen to follow them and take guidance and seek power and wisdom and instruction and even technology from those entities. That's what I'm saying is the Illuminati.
See, this is the first time in several months that you've made sense, other than the giant one, home run.
And
But
and part of it is, and I didn't mean to cut you off. Part of it is my ability to take what's in my head, sequence it, slow it down, and rehash it. Because for years I was just intake. And I'm doing this, make draw, like I said, with the red strings, and
yeah,
I'm here crazy, not eating and sleeping and rocking, and then you come out and you say, yeah, I'm a little schizo, but I, I I feel like I've got something, and the one thing I hope that people can appreciate is that I don't make it wasn't a light decision. You know what I mean? Like flat Earth wasn't like, yeah, I'm I see a conspiracy and I'm like, yeah, let's run with that. But that's in jest. It's for fun. In reality, I am using my critical thinking skills to say, okay, who's giving me this information? Who benefits from me knowing it? How can it be used against me? How can it be used for me? How could someone put this out and really be meaning to throw me off the trail?
yeah,
How could someone put this out and really want to overwhelm me with information so that I can't see the grand point? I'm considering all those things. And when I confidently come to a conclusion, like even flat earth, it wasn't a light decision. I'm not a genius. I can't explain all the different stuff. There's a lot of moving parts that you'll be like, "See, I got you. It's a globe." It's like, "Okay, still not though."
Right, right. So so you're almost at the point that the globe is the conspiracy. That the flat Earth isn't a conspiracy, it's a
Correct,
globe.
correct.
The
The
globe
globe
is
is
something
correct,
being
correct.
perpetuated and put out there by people who mean to just distract us and do harm, and like you said, hide Jesus in the first place. Prove that there's no God, that everything God said is not true. Um, and somehow 98%, I just made that number up off the top of my head, 98% of the world has bought it, and there's 2% of you all that are like, "Yeah, but you're wrong, and here's
Mhm.
why." And we go, "But Galileo," and most of the people that believe the Earth is a sphere don't even know who that dude is. But he's the dude that said it, I think, right? He was the
Yep,
astronomer that proved
yep,
that the Earth is a globe.
yep.
Um, and everything that we're basing that on, that it's a globe, again, most of the people don't know who he is, and I almost guarantee unless you're in that field or you're a historian, you have no idea how he did it. You just go, "Oh, yeah, it was in the book." Right. So
300 years before a plane,
it's so we're
400 years before a weather balloon.
well,
Fi
and I can believe it. I mean, because you can find technology today that'll show you that it's flat, and I can find technology that'll show me that it's a globe, that it's curved, and 500 years from now, we're both gonna be wrong. Now, one of our conclusions will be right,
Mhm.
but the way that we arrive there, the
Could
technology
be
that we
wrong,
use to
right.
prove it only proves really, that the only way I was able to prove it's a sphere is because I believe it is. So I made up some technology that confirms that. And you believe that it's flat, you know, so that you came up with some technology that proved it's flat. And I don't mean us, I mean the scientists. Like you said, people way smarter than us that know the technology. That laser thing that you sent, like, well, let's shoot a laser and see how far. I mean, lasers go a mile, right? And then they just stop like a bullet. They just quit. They just fall off. No, that's light, man. That's like we can see the sun. We can see light a long, long ways. So if you can shoot a laser 150 miles straight and the guy over there can see it standing on the same earth, okay, are we willing to? But again, 500 years from now, they're going to go, well, you were right. It's flat, but that laser thing, that doesn't actually prove it because you didn't understand how lasers work the way we do 500 years later. So I can believe that Galileo really legitimately, for the technology that they had then, proved that it was a globe. Whether he was right or wrong, he proved it, right?
Mhm.
And he went into it with the understanding that it's a globe. I'm willing to bet that he didn't suddenly wake up and go, I'll be darned, it's a globe. All this time I thought it was flat. He probably from the time he was a little time he was 11, he was probably watching TV,
Yep,
right? Or
right.
whatever. He heard a story and he said, that's not right. That no, 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 no. No, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm out to prove now that it's a globe. And lo and behold, he did. You know.
Flat Earth is such a fascinating one. Like I said, I can't even begin to describe you the depression that came, with
Oh, I can
accepting
believe
it.
it. Because yes, I can. I can absolutely identify because one of the things you said to me a few weeks ago, and I'm not starting to believe you, just so you know, I'm not buying it. Don't get excited, Don.
Scott.
However, right, when when you when you said, "I'm not really trying to convince you that the world is, flat. What I'm trying to do is get you to understand that you already believe the world is flat, and I'm trying to help you come to terms with that." And I'm like, "Uh, wait, Imma have to draw this out. You're not trying to convince me the world is flat. What you're trying to do is get me to come to terms with the fact that I already believe it's flat."
It's
And
what
I
you
and I
observe, it's
got
what you experience,
well,
yes.
and I got when you said that, I got depressed because I went, "Wait a minute. Do I do I really think it's flat?" Be because Don's not a hype man, right? He's not a hype man. He's not a snake oil salesman that's trying to convince me of anything here. Um, do I believe the world? And I just have to come to terms with it.
Because again, I trust that you are intelligent enough.
Right.
I'm telling you, Ken, I believe that it will happen. I believe that will convince you. And I'm saying, and I say this in jest, I'm making fun, but I'm saying you're gonna get up and you're gonna be standing in your yard and you're gonna have a crisis. It's gonna be a mini crisis. It happened. You're standing there and you're like,
Huh.
so my new job, I talk about, I work with people with
Yeah.
developmental disabilities. So we talk about conspiracies, and I probably shouldn't, but he loves to talk about it. So we talked. So the individual and I were talking about conspiracy theories, and I said, well,
Oh, in
yeah.
3 weeks, you're gonna be telling me about your next new job because you convinced all the people at your last job.
So I tell this kid, he's 18, full of spunk, full of fire, very high functioning kid. I say, well, the government's run by reptilians, and eventually they'll do the blue beam on us, and they'll fake the second coming, and then they'll attack us with their reptilian overlords. And he's like, what? The reptilian overlords are coming? I'm like, yeah, dude, they're coming. And like, I don't know when, but they're coming. He's like, we got to tell the military. I'm like, I think I think they are a part of it. And it wasn't until it was then I was like, hey, maybe maybe.
How do I
I mean, he was ready to pack his bag.
Yeah.
But I'm like, bro, I feel you. I felt the same way. It was like, wait, certainly, oh my God, I got to call my mom. And I said, Mom, oh my God. And people that rah. And you're like, and they're looking at you like,
Hmm. People
that's
look at me like
okay.
that because I talk to you about it. When I say to people what we're talking about on the podcast, people look at me and go, "You're not
Are you
I don't
crazy?
you don't believe that, do you?" And I
Well,
go, "Well,
no.
at the end of
You
the
ever?
day," here's what I say, "At the end of the day, does it matter?" And that really torques them off. I mean,
Yep.
it's like when totally unrelated, but when somebody, back 100 years ago before I was married, you know, "Are you gay? Does it matter?"
Right, right,
And they go, "I don't even know how to process that answer." Like, either you are or you aren't. You're correct. Either
right.
you are or you aren't. But
Yep.
does it matter? Yeah, it matters.
What? Yeah. What difference would it make?
Why? Well, it just does. Well, do you think you're flat? Maybe I do, and maybe I don't. Does it matter? Well, of course it matters. Why? Well, because it does. Like,
Well, yeah. If you say, "Hey, we were just riding together," he said, "Bud, did you see my wallet? I just got out the car. I think I said, did you see it set on the chair there? Your wallet? Why would why would I have your wallet? Why would you ask me about your wallet?
oh,
What do you think I do? You think I'm a thief? You think I would steal your wallet?" You'd be like, "Well, I
it's a
didn't
little over the
think
top.
so, but now maybe so." Like, why are you freaking out? That's the other thing. Why does it activate such a visceral response? What is that? What's there? There's something there. It's like I'm taking something from you. It's like they knew exactly where to implant that seed. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The earth is a globe, gravity.
See, we can even get away with saying, and Donovan, I'm telling you, I don't believe it. I'm making points for your side,
I appreciate that.
and you're gonna go,
Thanks for the help.
"He's starting to buy." No, I'm not. I'm not. But we're allowed to believe in Jesus or not believe in Jesus, and people don't react as passionately to that decision as they do if I say, "One of my friends really honestly believes the earth is flat, and he loves Jesus." And they go, I could say that to the most devout atheist out there, and they would go, "He believes the world's flat?" Dude, I just told you he believes in Jesus, and you're an atheist, and that part didn't phase you because we're allowed to have different opinions, different beliefs on whether or not Jesus lived, whether or not Jesus is our savior, whether or not God even exists. We're allowed to have that different
Mhm.
opinion, right? I mean, I could even say, uh, Donovan's a better athlete because he's black. And I wouldn't get that same level
Right,
of
right,
reaction as when I
right.
say Donovan believes the world is flat. You could be talking to the dude, the grand poobah, right? Clan master, the whatever, the guy with the biggest damn pointy hat, and I could say, "One of my good friends is black," and that would be bad.
Like, he's a flat earther
If
though?
I said, "And he believes the earth is flat," then it would be like, "He believes what?" Dude, I just told the Klan that I got a friend who's not, you know,
What
uh,
is that?
and that was like, "Ugh," and he believes the earth is flat. Really?
What is that?
I
Why
agree.
why?
I agree. Yeah, why is
Why?
that visceral? Where does that it's so deep seated that that is just the truth. That you're right. When you challenge it, people feel like you're attacking them, that you're calling them stupid, or that they automatically assume that you're stupid because you believe it. But I could tell them almost anything else, and they'd be upset, but they wouldn't be like, "You don't really believe that whatever, do you?" Well, yeah, but the Earth's a globe. We don't like I've known that since I was in kindergarten, and there was a
Mhm.
globe on the bookshelf at school, and it uh-huh, yeah, I know, we're all that way. Well, not all of us, but
You know, it's the idea of, like, The Matrix where they show them people getting unplugged. You know, I really feel that way. When you come to terms with flat Earth, maybe that's it. If we're really in a simulation and we're really computer programs, maybe that's the code that frees you. As you believe in this flat Earth and it sort of unlocks all the other channels because there's such a strong hold on that belief, which then in turn you start looking into the guys who perpetuated these different beliefs, the theory of gravity, theory of relativity. They were all Freemasons. Provably, these guys were all a part of these secret societies. So you're thinking, okay, that's curious. Okay, so all of our scientists have always been a part of secret society. That's interesting. What is what's the coincidence there? And so I'm telling you, man, I've seen some of the reactions, and then this the other part that's fun. You end up having to teach people what they believe. They end up you end up telling them that something they believe is ridiculous, and they're like, "Well," and you say, "Well, you do realize that if you believe in your model, you believe that," and they say, "Well, for example, you believe that metal melts. We can prove that metal melts. Steel has a melting point. It's already established which degrees steel melts at. So when a conspiracy theorist tells you they don't believe satellites are real in the way that you understand them, because when I was in school, they taught us that satellites were the size of a school bus with wings. A school bus with wings,
yeah.
hundreds and thousands of them floating in our sky, but yet no NASA video ever captures not one. Never. You've never seen one. You've never seen a photo of the Earth and you see all these thousands of satellites. You just don't. The biggest consumer, it's provable that the biggest consumer of helium is NASA. Now, those seem like unconnected facts, but I'm telling you that they're putting those satellites up in weather balloons. We've got 465 million miles of underwater sea cables. That's where the internet is. The internet isn't satellite. You just need two locations to triangulate another location. You just need two pieces of the triangle. You can get that through wires on a cable on the ground. You don't have to have satellites. Satellites aren't real. Why would they fake satellites? Because the earth is flat and we live under a globe and you can't go anywhere. That's the point.
Yeah,
Why would they fake satellites? Because they can't make the real thing.
yeah.
It's a the ISS. This is a good video I think we should look at too. The ISS they say is moving at 17,000 miles an hour. 17,000 miles, they say. And then they convinced you that you could see it with your naked eye at home.
Well, of course, if we're moving that
But
bad.
then China showed you the bullet train come across the bridge and all these reporters there, and the bullet train goes, and it's only going at like 300 miles, like
Yeah,
400
that's
miles.
yeah, that's not even going 1,000 miles an hour. That's going a couple hundred, yeah.
But somehow you can see the ISS with all their wonderful equipment moving at 17,000 miles an hour. It's a falsity. And I'm saying if I can draw the pattern between they're lying about how fast the ISS is moving, NASA's buying all this helium. Remember that balloon that came down and they tried saying, "Oh, China, and we don't know, and what's going
Yeah,
on?" And that was a satellite. They had to play dumb. Can't be like, "Oh shit, one of our satellites
right.
started falling." Like,
Who's in charge of that
they
one
gotta be
today?
like,
You're fired.
yeah, they gotta be like, "Damn it, we don't know. It's China. Gotta be China." Then they made the decision to just shoot it down.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what was it attached to? A helium balloon. A helium balloon that was the size of half of a football field, and it could just float up and sit right on the dome, right on the firmament.
right, so right up against the firmament,
Yeah, and they just yeah, absolutely,
just hangs out.
absolutely. Yep. Um, it's things like this that over the years, that flat Earth clack up that I told you, that was so amazing. That what that guy did is a lot of the videos that turned me into a flat earther. To go on YouTube and search for them to now, you can't find them. They're suppressed. They literally hid them all.
Yeah,
Like it, literally typing the video in word for word with the exact punctuation and spelling and capitals. That's the only way you can bring it up.
yeah,
If any variation is gone, it will not find you the video. He took them all and compiled them into a video, into an app. So now all that information is still available, but they pulled it. I don't know what the maybe they purposely poisoned, maybe they allowed few thousand of us to see this information because they knew that it would cause an upset. These guys will not let it go. We let these guys get access to these couple little things that will never
yeah,
let it go.
yeah. So
You know.
so if we go back to where
Hmm.
kinda where we started,
Yep.
so where, um and it's a I think it's a different answer now knowing where you're coming from, but if I'm, again, uninitiated, so if I say seeds and secrets, hey, we talk about conspiracy theories and the intersection of conspiracy theories and faith. Um, and where there isn't an intersection, then we talk about us because that's sometimes where the intersection is I
Hmm.
believe in conspiracy theories and I believe in faith. Um, so so if somebody coming in from the outside, when you say conspiracy theories and they say, "Oh, you mean like Bigfoot?" Okay, again, are we talking urban legends? Are we talking Jimmy Hoffa's buried in the, end zone at Yankee Stadium, the end zone at Giant Stadium, et cetera, et cetera. What's the difference between a good
Mm.
conspiracy theory and a good urban legend? Knowing that sometimes like I said, they lead to each other. You go, "Oh, well, Bigfoot is actually, the reason that we can't find Bigfoot is these interdimensional doors, that exist in these very remote areas, and those interdimensional doors have to do with I don't know, I'm just talking about this big 9-foot furry thing called Bigfoot. Is that just an urban legend or is that a conspiracy theory? Well, all by himself, he's an urban legend.
Yep.
If you start digging into where did he come from? Is he part of that race that doesn't exist?
Hmm.
Uh, was he, is he the bastard child of, like, was he a non-functioning offspring of a demon and a human? Was he created by science? Was he created by a demon? Why do we never see him? Why do we never find DNA? Why?
Right.
Okay, so where does it go from urban legend into conspiracy theory?
That's interesting. That's interesting. I think the for me the difference between the legend and so the thing is no one ever accused Bigfoot of trying to seek them out.
Right.
No one ever accused Bigfoot of causing harm to their farm. People just have witnessed him, and he
Yeah.
was different. He was scary. It was alarming. I think it's something far more visceral to thinking that there's someone that smiles and looks just like you and I and even makes promises to do good things, that could actually kidnap and eat children and drain their blood or torture them until they produce adrenochrome in their blood and then drink the blood because it gives them power and energy. Like that to me is far scarier than Bigfoot. Like a black bear or a brown bear, it'll just get you and maul you. And even when you're mauled, you're scared, but you're like, yeah, that's what bears do.
Right.
I'll
That's
meet Jesus soon. You know,
right.
he didn't seek me out. He doesn't.
You're
He
all
didn't
right.
check my ID and say, "Yep, that's him."
There's no
Ma-
agenda here. It's just
Yeah,
hunger.
there. So I think that's the part is it becomes real when you're thinking there's a trust factor. You're saying again, you know, when I talk about this lady on the news. So I think that's kind of the urban legend thing. Is just like aliens were fine when they were just, you know, kind of riding by in spaceships. It wasn't until they started taking people and people are saying they're bringing up to surgery rooms and planting babies or implanting chips and following them and tracking them and visiting them multiple times. That's when you're like, oh, that okay, that's coordinated. And then you hear, well, okay, they have an agreement with the Greys that they can experiment on us and they'll trade us people for technology. So we agree to let them kidnap people from our national parks and they will crash down spaceships for us to reverse engineer. And yeah, that sounds woo woo, but then you're like, how
But it's
woo
not the
woo is
craziest
that?
thing. It's not the craziest thing you've said.
Yeah. You're like, okay, interesting, you know? And again, the lady lied about the passport. So the news lies to you. The news is connected to the government. Operation Mockingbird was real. The CIA implants operatives in our news media. It's legal. It's in our constitution for them to do so. They think it's in our interest as a country to do so. We think Kim Jong Un is the only one controlling what the people see. You're crazy. They curate our news. Did you ever see the clip where they got where everybody's talking about ice cream on the same day in the news stations?
If you think back to when you and I worked together when you were younger and we were doing those, like, the media literacy trainings, you had to be, like, twitching. I mean, you had to be like, "Uh-huh, I know exactly what that dude's talking about." Because
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
he was basically the lessons were, it's not out of the number 1, all news is manufactured. That was one of the things that they said that I will take to my grave, is please keep in mind, everything that you see, all media is manufactured, whether it's for entertainment purposes, a documentary, whether it's the news, it was manufactured. Very rarely does somebody just turn on a camera and do a live feed and just leave it and just, "Oh, there's a car crash. I'm just gonna put my phone here and I'm just gonna live feed the crash." No, there's commentary. There's,
Yes.
"Oh, that red car came out of nowhere. The blue car was the one that ran the red." It's now manufactured. It's me
Yep.
telling you what has happened, even if it ain't accurate, even if it ain't true. As long as it's plausible, you'll go, "Well, that blue car clearly was at fault," even though all you see is 2 cars on fire and people dying, and so all media is manufactured, and I'm willing to bet that when you heard that as a 14, 15-year-old, when we were working together when you were younger, you were probably going, "Uh, you're just scratching the surface here, you know that, right?"
Well, more than that, I think I put it in a vault. Those are things that firmly make me believe what I believe now.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was like that media literacy train. I held on. I remember Jeff. I'll never forget that.
yeah.
And I every once in a while I'll go look up those commercials. Maybe we'll play one of those. They're still on YouTube. You every
Yeah,
once in a you can still find them.
I got great commercials of you in a tuxedo
The
and
PSA,
oh my,
yeah,
oh,
yep.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so, but no, I do lean on those moments, and I think about that, and I say, well, I told you I worked for one of those companies, one of those big, huge companies that he showed us with those missing labels. Jeff
yeah.
did. And when I this is complete this is the thing. This is how a conspiracy theorist is built. It's piece by piece, but it's the small pieces. And once they come together, you can't really pull them apart because the materials they're made of are so
It
dense. I don't know how to
yeah,
say it,
yep,
but
yep,
I worked for the company years later after this training, and I'm saying yes, that absolutely what you're saying. I worked for this one of the big companies that he showed us. First of all, I didn't even realize that this company owns all of these companies,
yeah,
all of them.
yeah,
So I worked for this company, and I walked in the building, and we're just doing orientation. and she just casually, it wasn't even a part, it was like a freestyle riff. Somebody asked a question that sparked her to make a comment. That comment led her to add this extra comment. She would have never ordinarily shared this information with us, but she did share that they dedicate their building to a God. If it's not Jesus and it's not my God, then it's a false God in the Christian belief. So that's when I say a false God. They dedicate it to a false God, the whole building, every single product. Well, think about that in the Bible. That's why Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went to the fiery furnace, because they wouldn't eat the food that had been sacrificed to the idols. So I'm telling you, your deodorant has been sacrificed to a false God. Your toothpaste was sacrificed to a false God, or excuse me, dedicated.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, going back to those companies, it's more like when I got to the realization later, I'm thinking, oh my God, that's what he was showing us. That these companies have us programmed. They have our minds programmed. I think Clorox is a better quality bleach. It may be. It may actually be. But whether it is or not, I think it is.
Yeah.
Because of their branding has been successful.
Yeah.
And so let's see this. There's hundreds of examples like this, but let's just show this one real quick because it's so good. Yeah, I think it's this.
And then when we're done watching this, I want to come back to faith.
Faith, absolutely.
What's faith compared to these?
Sure. Okay.
Country.
The sharing of biased and false news.
Greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
the sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts.
Come on.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use
Are you kidding me?
their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
How do you explain that? What is that?
Oh man.
What is that? And I'm saying that's just one. That wasn't even the one I was looking for, but it was accurate enough to convey the point. There's one where they do ice cream, we all scream for ice cream. So again, I told you what made me a conspiracy theorist was this woman saying the passport. So we all got the passport news.
Yeah.
They lie? They're programming us each. How do we know what level of matrix we're involved in here?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and again,
That clip was something.
yeah, it's scary. And again, like I said, it's sobering. What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and an urban legend? Urban legend doesn't have any pain attached to it. Urban legend they're usually scary. And yeah, sometimes they come up with someone coming missing or getting hurt, but often they don't. To me, the part that becomes serious is it seems like the conspiracy side of it, it's like teaching you that humans have the ability to view each other as less than human. They have the ability to treat each other so far beneath. To be a human is to experience human things and is to sympathize with the human experience. I don't have to necessarily feel bad for every homeless person, every bum on the street, but I sympathize with the human experience, right? Everybody doesn't have the same level of compassion, but I'm saying to torture children to death, to sacrifice your children to an owl thing, that it's like it goes beyond what it means
There's
to
an
be human.
intention there that's This isn't creepy things that go bump in the night. This is
Right. the Wendigo, and like I
There's
told
just
you,
things
my
that go
individual,
bump right in front of us, and
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
the things that can, you know, I don't think Bigfoot's gonna come to my apartment.
right, right,
Like, I gotta go out there where he's at, and then maybe I'll bump into him.
right,
But I'm saying the Illuminati can get me where I'm at.
yeah,
And they'll convince you I did it myself. That's what scares me about the
yeah.
conspiracy theory. Yeah, let's tie this back into faith, because what does the Bible say about that? What do we feel that how does this relate to faith? How can we win souls understanding conspiracy? For me, it's easy, but maybe it's not. What do you see?
Well, I just, you know, I think that word faith is just what it comes down to. It is faith. Where you and I both, and a lot of people out there are following a God that it's not possible. The things that are in the Bible. It's like there's people that say, well, I can prove definitively that Jesus rose from the dead. Um, and and there's always like that almost takes away some of the credibility. Like if you really could prove it, it's not miraculous then.
Right.
Like the stuff in the Bible is things that are so far beyond what I can do, what you can do. That's why I was just talking to a friend that used to be a pastor, and I said, I'm at a stage in my life. I just got on the board of a couple different nonprofits in the last couple months, and there's both of them are doing really big things, and both of them are ministry and faith related, Christian based. And I said, I feel like I'm in a stage of my life where God has said, you've been in control for a little too long. And now I'm gonna start, things are gonna start getting crazy for you. And I said, okay, thank you, God, because that's when I know you're in charge and not me. When it's
Mm,
stuff that I can't do anymore, when it's beyond me, that's when I get excited, right? Because that's a God thing.
yep.
And that's the way I feel with faith, is it almost has to be that beyond our reach, beyond our capacity, beyond our abilities. Because if it's something that I can do on my own, then it doesn't require faith, right? If it's something that you can prove to me, like the nose on my face, you can prove it to me, then I don't really have to have faith. I just have to do whatever it is that you prove. If you jump off a 30-foot roof and there's no ladder and you land on concrete, you don't have to convince me. I don't have to believe in gravity. You don't have to convince me. I'm probably gonna die.
Right.
It's just gonna happen then, right?
Hmm.
Um, but if you wanna convince me that a person can be healed with no medical intervention, we don't know how to do that. We can't. That's beyond our capacity. That takes faith. That takes a spirit that ain't us, right? So that's how I sometimes, I mean, even with this conversation that we've had tonight, and I feel like after listening to you, I have a better understanding. Where do the pieces fit in to the grand scheme of conspiracy theories? Really, where it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a, almost all of the big ones are related, and they come back to who's in control and who's trying to control us and who's trying to be in charge of our destiny here. Um, and faith is the same way, right? Who's in charge? Who's trying to control us here? Who's in charge of our destiny? And you and I believe it's this guy named Jesus, right? Only Jesus came to die for our sins and to get us into heaven, not to muck us up, right? And Jesus doesn't have to put things in place um, to continually prove himself to us, because everything that he's done to prove himself is already happened. It's already in place. He's in charge of it all, right? We know at the end of
Hmm.
the day, we know the end of the story. I think you've said that before. We already know the ending, right? So even in the midst of all this conspiracy stuff and all the evil that's going on, the depravity and the things that are happening, we know the end of the story, and that's where the faith comes in. Is it's the balm. It's not the opposite of the conspiracy theory. It's the balm to if the conspiracy theory is right, okay, and I'm coming back to not a convert yet. But if the conspiracy theory is right, the balm for that is faith in Jesus Christ. It is believing that somebody went before us and died for us. Um, And at the end of the day, should we choose to let him into our heart and follow his teachings? And it goes way beyond follow his teachings, right? Because you can follow his teachings, put him in your heart, and he can impact you on this earth and how you live your life. But that second step, right? That part where he dwells in within me, right? Where I mean, the Bible teaches me I can perform miracles just like Jesus.
Yes.
And when that supernatural part starts taking over, and when the Holy Spirit says, "Hey, y'all, watch this," you know, that's that's where faith really gets super energized and kicks in. So it's to me, it's the again, it's not the anti-conspiracy theory. It's not the solution to conspiracy theories, even though it kind of is. It's the balm for 'em. It's the answer to them. It's the fact that like whether you believe the Earth is round or not, whether you believe they sacrificed children or not, whether you think Epstein was innocent or not, whether you think Epstein killed himself or not, Jesus still died for us. And whether you believe in Bigfoot or not, Jesus still died for us. And I think when we get to the pearly gates, Jesus is gonna go, "This Bigfoot thing, look, we it's like you meat sacks, like you living, breathing people, that you're Bigfoot. I just wanna come down here and slap you," you know? Um, but nonetheless, we're there. We're in heaven.
Mhm.
We're talking to Jesus. We're having this conversation with the creator of the universe. Whether or not we believed in Bigfoot or not, whether or not we thought the earth was round or flat or a turtle's back or an elephant's back, or who cares? Um, so it's bigger than all of us. It's bigger than everything that you and I have talked about, um, as it relates to what's going on down here on our planet. So to me, that's the difference between all this and faith. Faith is bigger than us. Faith is the arena in which all this happens. It's the one that built the arena. It's the one that has the rules to the game. It's the one that the deck is stacked against us when it comes to the conspiracy theory. It really is. They are out to get us. That I believe they are out to kill. But this is bigger than that. This is like, yeah, and if you choose to let Jesus into your life and you live according to His word, okay, then you've already overcome those things somehow. I don't know how, but that's a God thing somehow. So I don't know. That's my take on all of this.
Okay.
Just the answer.
No, I agree, and I think that was a powerful point you make about we've something we've talked about before too. Is we already know the ending. I used to love doing the little maze, draw,
Yeah.
try to figure out how to get through.
Yeah.
I used to always work from the end and work back. That was my thing. Just work from the end and go back, and it was
Keep
always
going,
easy.
people through. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I kind of feel like that's kind of what the idea is here. It's like we know the ending of the story, so it makes it relatively easy to start from the end and work our way. So what happens right before the apocalypse? Okay, so what led up to the persecution of the Christians? Okay, so right before the Christians were persecuted, what were the evil ones doing? Okay, so right before that, what were they doing? What would they have to? What would the world look like right before persecution?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right before the great falling away?
Yeah. 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 If you look around, you're right. It's like, oh,
It,
man,
it would look a lot like it does now.
there's a lot of people making claims that they know better than to make them.
The United States government has admitted at the time of this recording that there are 4 different types of aliens.
Well, according to the papers that have been released to distract us from the original distraction. Right. And I still feel that way. But but I will also concede that doesn't mean I'm right.
Right?
That doesn't mean I'm right.
There's comfort. Do you want an uncomfortable truth or a comforting lie?
Right.
It is again the Great Depression that I went through when I came to terms with certain things. Yeah, so it may you're right. It very in my mind somewhere in the back of it is just one conspiracy theory with a lot of other small theories.
Everything else came out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
everything else really, as far as not does Bigfoot exist? Who cares? But yeah, why are there 12-year-old girls disappearing? That's related. I mean, it's
Well,
why is this? Why is that? Why can you patch together 150 different newscasts from all over the country and it's the same exact words?
Same
right.
exact. Now, I'm saying, do you need to see that 5 times to believe that they're scripting the news, or is that one good enough to be like,
What else?
we shouldn't be able to do that?
We should not be able to do that. We shouldn't even be able to notice. But the fact that we can, and you've said this before too, it's almost like the bad guys are getting. It's not that they're getting lazy; it's just that they don't care whether or not we
They
get.
won. They already beat it. They already have the power. They're already there.
They're already
Who are you going to tell? Who can help you?
right.
Who can save you?
You think the world's flat? Nobody's going to listen to you. Wait a minute. Didn't we just say there's really one conspiracy and everything? Yeah. So okay, I don't believe it. I just want to tell you.
Okay, and that's fine. No pressure.
I'm not on.
But
Team
I'm saying,
however,
one day,
a whole lot of the other pieces, though. I mean, even if you don't believe flat Earth, even if you don't, you can look at some of the other things and go, that doesn't discount what I just watched with the news story. That doesn't discount some of these other things. Where is the power seat? Not just in this country, but in this world. You know, the Earth can still be a globe, and all those things can still be true. So it's
right?
now it happens to make more sense that, well, guess what? That's the original lie, and at some point you're going to go, dang it, they lied to me about. See, they even lied to me about that. You know, um, so even if I'm not buying the flat world thing, the rest of it is incredibly plausible. Incredibly plausible. There may be giants. There might be giants.
So I don't know if we've ever done this one real quick. We're almost out of here. 1 second. Have I ever showed you this real quick? This is this is the tombstone of the founder of NASA. Have we ever talked about this?
Yeah.
This is Werner von Braun. This is his tombstone. He had commission. He just has this one simple scripture there, Psalms 19:1. And when you go to Psalms 19:1, it says, for the heavens, let me see. For the heavens declare, where is it at? Psalms 19:1. For the heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Now, let's look at that in a different, let's go King James. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. That is on Werner von Braun's gravestone. That is the man who founded NASA. I mean, helped NASA. He was a German Nazi that they saved and gave a new identity to, and he helped found NASA, and that's on his grave. The firmament shows God's handiwork. They all know. Real quick, I want to show you one more. This is compelling, just because it's just perfect. I want to show you Hillary Clinton. They've all these clips.
I know you've been sending me a bunch of them.
Yeah, and even then, I'm still. Let me show you this one.
Although we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it. And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with.
And then one more. There's Obama. He talks about.
What?
Go ahead.
That one doesn't do much for me because that's. I mean, they've talked about women in the glass ceiling for decades, right?
It's just like a thing where they always have to kind of sort of
So there's kind of the double meaning there, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's sort of this thing where they're always sort of throwing it in our face. They always want to reference these things.
Gotcha.
I sent you the one where it shows the UN building and how they have flat Earth map in the building, or the Denver airport's got a flat Earth depiction. You know, it's like they always want us, because this is the other thing. Could you imagine dedicating your soul to Satan, guaranteeing that you're going to go to hell to get some sort of privileged knowledge and a few $1 million and, you know, a cool high-rise apartment and a cool sports car, and then realizing that like some idiots in his mom's basement has the same information that you do, and he didn't have to dedicate his soul to give it to get it? It's a little I'd be pissed too. Like, wait, dude, no, you drink baby's blood too to know that the earth is flat. You should know that. You should know that there's more land out there and that we have secret islands we don't tell you about. Or we're building a whole bunker underneath the whole continental United States. Or that the ballroom Trump is trying to build is really just a data center and a whole underground complex.
So you mentioned that last time too, the whole underground complex. So it's really not Trump building it.
No, of course not. It's I've known for many years, and think about it, it's actually sensible. The president isn't briefed on every program the United States has going. It's just natural. Like, you're only here 8 years.
You can only hold so much information.
Yeah, why do we need to tell you about this highway program that we've had going since the 60s that it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So then who does that matter? Who is in charge? Who is that?
Yeah.
That's almost like pointing to there's a secret agenda.
Yeah.
You know? No, of course not. And the only reason we know about that is because they got sued and it came out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have just been none the wiser thinking it was a ballroom.
So Kamala Harris could be an off. Obama could still be an off. Biden could be an off. So this is it goes so far beyond a right wing, left wing, conservative.
Oh yeah. The general doesn't have, the certain general doesn't have any term of office. He can be the general for 40 years.
Yeah.
He probably knows about stuff,
You said there was something you wanted to kind of tease me with.
Let's do this. It's a 6-minute video.
Okay.
We'll end on this. Because I think this is the only topic I find more fascinating than flat Earth.
You gave me a lot to think about this week. You gave me a lot.
I love old architecture. I fell in love with the Michigan State Capitol. The building is so beautiful. And one of the first things I noticed about it was, why are there windows in the ground? Who builds a building and just like partially obstructs half a window in the ground? Like, what's the purpose of it? And that's when you enter the mud flood theory. This doesn't touch on that, but that's such a robust topic that we've got a lot to cover. But in this 6 minutes, it gives you enough to be like, oh, I want to get into it. So I thought, let's do this. Without further ado, let's check him out. My lunch break. Let's see here.
Civilization living among old world buildings in a single video. There's no way that all Capitol buildings look exactly the same if they all have a different architect, right? All right, here we are at the Texas State Capitol. The Capitol was made in 1988. It was constructed largely by a bunch of convicts or migrant workers. There's a bunch of convicts building this. This only took 6 years and 10 months to build. This only took 6 years and 10 months to build. Did they have power tools in 1885? No, they did not. That didn't come until 1895. So 10 years before the power tool, they were able to construct this with convicts. Yeah, give me a break. All right, so here we are at the Mississippi State Capitol, and the history of it says that there were 14 architects that submitted plans in response to the architectural context and advertised in newspapers. Okay, so there was a contest to see who would make sure that this thing was going to get built, and a bunch of architects, 14 of them, submitted plans, and of course they picked the winner, and they chose Theodore C. Link of St. Louis, Missouri. He won the contest. Obviously, this is going to look different than all the other ones because it's a contest, right? So let's take a look at it. Of course it will. Let's reveal what it looks like. Oh, nope. It's exactly the same. I don't know how that works, but we run a contest with 14 people, and this guy just
That
draws
notion
up the
alone,
exact
a
same structure
contest.
that we're looking at all over the United States.
Okay, here we are with the Arkansas State Capitol. And let's see who built this. Oh, it was a bunch of prisoners. Prisoners know how to build Tartarian buildings, I guess. Yeah.
Why is this lady walking home? Why didn't she just take her car home? She's got this amazing building. Surely they have cars. Oh, okay. I guess they don't. Okay, so here we are at the Florida State Capitol. And let's scroll in and up. There it is. Yep. They tore down the original.
Okay, so here we are at the Minnesota State Capitol. They had a competition. There was 41 people that submitted their design, and I don't know why they have 41 people submitting a design when they're all exactly the same. So let's see if it's any different. And no, it's exactly the same as all the other ones. The Montana State Capitol. And in this one, they had 2 competitions. Okay, right off the bat. A design competition for a building that was conducted in 1896. So they wanted to do a competition. The winner was this guy. He won. A year later, they said that too much money. So they're going to do another competition, of course. So there are 2 competitions to find out who's going to do this. The second one was won by Charles Bell. I wonder if they built anything different than all the other state capitals. I wonder why it would matter whether this guy won or this guy. Does it matter? Because they all look exactly the same. Here's a picture of the winning competition design. Okay. And there's the picture of it. So it looks exactly like all of the other ones.
It's totally different than the other one.
This guy's design, George Mann, didn't win, but Arkansas is allowing him to use his design down here. So Arkansas and Montana better not look exactly the same. Let's see. Here's Montana. Let's see Arkansas. Oh, it is literally identical. Oh, here's the competition. Another competition to see who was going to design this thing. It was rejected, and another contest was started.
1860.
Why do you need competitions if they all
60 years before the power tool. 60 years.
Was Michigan's capital a contest?
I can't remember, but he does cover
and
it.
The Utah scriptwriter got a little carried away, in my opinion. This is the best of them all. Supposedly, they had 24 architecture firms compete to see who was going to be the best design and the winner. Some firms didn't want to compete because the pay wasn't high enough. So then it was down to the final 8 firms. Utah gave them 5 months to get these designs turned in. After a bunch of nonsense, which you can read here for yourself, they finally got it down to the final 2, or you could say the championship. The committee finally took a vote and picked someone by a nail biter, 4-3 in the votes. And amazing, just amazing, nail biter. I think it sounds like the storyteller might have been drinking that night and been laughing, having us read this. Okay, so after all of this, the Capitol building better friggin' look like something better than all the other ones. All right, let's take a look at it. Oh, there it is. Nope. Looks exactly the freaking same.
Huge
as
improvement.
all the other ones.
Yeah.
Now, in my
Very
opinion,
unique.
these buildings are all too important to the controllers to knock down. So they have to simply keep them. They have to add them to the narrative and pretend like they were just built. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, and comment below. I will be posting a lot more. I appreciate all the love, and I hope you guys have a great day. See ya.
All right, so I'm gonna have to go to the Michigan Capitol and get one of the guided tours and do a little homework between now and next Tuesday.
I think it's time. How do I get back to our window here? There we go. All right.
Yeah, we're on.
I think it's time. That has amazed me from jump. I love old buildings now. Narratives never make sense. None of them. They always have a fire. They always have these weird origin stories. And now that I've played with ChatGPT a little bit, they all seem like AI stories. They all seem AI generated. Tom Thompson and his wife, Tamina Topography from Tippin, USA, all top of them. It's just like, it's so just, it's like AI generated. It's wild. If you are watching right now and you're under the sound of my voice and you've enjoyed this week's episode, please come back and see us again. Please like, please
It gets
subscribe,
better.
please share. It gets better. It gets crazier. It gets wilder. God is king. We know the end of the story. So, this spoiler, we're not revealing the end of the story. The story is there for you to see. Jesus wins. These bad guys think that they've got it in the bag, and they're going to win some. But the Bible says, do not fear the man that can kill the body. Fear the man that can kill the body and destroy the soul. They can only kill us. They can only poison us. They can only make us poor. They can only sick alien on us or mix goats with spiders and Dolly the llama and clone celebrities and clone Tyrone and all that. They can only do that stuff so much. Jesus is still going to come back and win all of this. So I'm asking God to help take down the strongholds in my life. Help me continue to submit to him. Help me continue to follow his word. Help me to forgive. Help me to forget. Help me to fast. Help me to pray. Help me to love my neighbor. Help me to love my brother and my sister as myself. Those are the things that we are taking away from this show. And it's just really fun to know that the losers are acting like the winners and the winners are acting like the losers, and we need to switch it up. I think so. So until next time, man, it's been real, Ken. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Thank you.